You're not unattractive. You're addicted to excuses. And until you detox from the lies you've been spoon-fed about self-love and vulnerability, you'll stay a ghost, a nobody, a face in the crowd that blends into the noise. Wake up. Stoicism isn't about feeling good, it's about becoming dangerous. Modern men are drowning in a swamp of mediocrity. They're told to be themselves, while their selves are lazy, entitled, and ruled by cravings. Stoic philosophy doesn't coddle. It annihilates. This isn't about getting laid or flexing on Instagram. This is about rewiring your DNA, becoming a man who doesn't beg for respect. He radiates it. Here's how. Principle 1. Destroy your identity. Stop clinging to the illusion of a fixed self. The person you call me is nothing more than a collection of outdated habits, limiting beliefs and scars from a past you had no control over. You were shaped by circumstance, molded by childhood fears, societal expectations, and the stories you've been told about who you are. But who says those stories are true? Who says they define you? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." That is the essence of transformation. Identity is not a badge of honor. It's a cage. The moment you tether yourself to the idea of who you are, you slam the door shut on who you could become. You say, "I'm just not that kind of person," as if your personality is carved in stone. But what if it's not? What if you could strip away everything holding you back and rebuild yourself from the ground up? Shave your head. Quit the job that's suffocating you. Burn the persona that's keeping you small. Let go of the labels that chain you to mediocrity. Introvert, overthinker, unlucky, unworthy. Reinvention isn't some poetic ideal reserved for novelists and philosophers. It's survival. The world belongs to those who refuse to stay stagnant. Who will you choose to be? Principle 2. Become invisible. Stop chasing attention. Stop clawing for recognition. The modern man has become a spectacle, a jester performing in the digital coliseum, dancing for fleeting applause, swiping for the illusion of worth, screaming into the void, "Look at me." But true power, it moves in silence. It does not beg. It does not announce itself. It does not need validation. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Think about that. Diamonds form in darkness, beneath crushing pressure, unseen for millennia. The strongest warriors sharpen their blades long before battle. The most dangerous minds cultivate wisdom in the stillness of solitude. While the world chases cheap attention, you must disappear. Train in the dark where no one watches. Read in silence where no one applauds. Let your absence become a force so potent that when you return, they feel you before they even see you. Why? Because power does not broadcast itself. It is simply known. When the lion hunts, it does not roar. When the storm gathers, it does not beg to be noticed. And when a man masters himself in the shadows, the world cannot help but recognize his presence when he steps into the light. This version amplifies the original intent, adding depth, metaphor, and emotional weight. Let me know Principle 3. Kill your heroes. Your idols are shackles, locking you in a prison of admiration. You whisper Marcus Aurelius's name as if it grants you wisdom. But if he stood before you now, he wouldn't pat you on the back. He'd shake his head in disappointment. He'd tell you to stop memorizing meditations and start living with the unshakable discipline it demands. Stoicism isn't a museum exhibit where we marvel at statues of dead men. It's a battlefield where we prove we belong among them. Do you think Ryan Holiday's books will carve your path forward? Will another podcast episode magically transform you? No. Inspiration is a spark, but fire needs fuel, and that fuel is action. While you sit, consuming words like a starving man, mistaking recipes for a meal, the real world moves on. Your heroes weren't gods, they were men who dared to step forward while others hesitated. Stop worshipping them and start surpassing them. Tear down the posters that make you feel accomplished just by looking at them. Delete the podcasts that lull you into believing that learning is doing. Heroes are the crutches of those too afraid to stand on their own legs, too timid to face the weight of their own potential. And if you refuse to rise, if you insist on kneeling before men greater than you, then know this: one day someone stronger, hungrier, and bolder will step over you and take the throne you were too afraid to claim. Be the man future losers quote. Principle 4. Suffer on purpose. Your life is too comfortable, dangerously so. You sink into memory foam every night, wrapped in the illusion of security, never once questioning how softness can harden the soul. You summon meals with a few taps on your phone, indulging in effortless convenience, mistaking it for self-care while your spirit atrophies from disuse. Meanwhile, the great minds of history, warriors, thinkers, leaders, understood a fundamental truth. Comfort is a slow, numbing poison. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, not a ritual of despair, but a training ground for resilience. They didn't just prepare for hardship, they welcomed it. They sought it out, knowing that voluntary suffering forges an unbreakable will. So suffer, on purpose. Sleep on the floor and feel the hard reality beneath you. Let hunger gnaw at your insides for a day, not to punish yourself, but to remind you that you are not a slave to indulgence. Walk headfirst into rejection, not with fear, but with the thrill of testing your mettle, because confidence isn't gifted, it's earned. Charisma isn't an accident, it's the byproduct of struggle. The world bends to those who have paid the toll in discomfort. Suffering is the currency of greatness, so stop hoarding comfort and start investing in pain. Principle 5. Betray your tribe. Loyalty is a comfortable cage, a gilded chain that binds you to mediocrity. Your friends, they nod along when you complain, enabling your stagnation because they fear losing you. They tolerate your excuses because they make the same ones. Your family, they shaped you with their fears, passed down their anxieties like an heirloom, teaching you to play it safe, to stay small, to avoid risk as if failure were fatal. But what if their version of love is just another word for limitation? Stoicism demands treason, not against morality, but against complacency. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Can you endure their ridicule? Can you stand the loneliness of stepping away? Growth demands exile. The wolf who abandons the pack doesn't just survive, he evolves, sharpens, becomes something the others whisper about in the dark. Legends are not forged in echo chambers, where the same tired beliefs bounce endlessly between the walls of conformity. They are born in silence, in solitude, in the fire of independent thought. So cut the cord. Walk away from the familiar laughter that masks quiet envy. Eat alone, think alone, strip yourself of the comfort of validation, because attraction, true, undeniable magnetic power, belongs to the one who dares to stand apart. And those who once dismissed you? One day they'll watch in awe, wondering how they ever dared to doubt you. Conclusion, let me make this crystal clear. You don't simply attract people like some magnet, drawing in every passerby. No, you filter them, ruthlessly, inevitably. The weak? They'll slink away, unable to withstand the weight of your presence. The jealous? They'll gnash their teeth in the shadows, scheming, whispering, hoping to see you stumble. But the worthy? They won't just admire you. They'll recognize the fire in your eyes, the storm in your soul, and they'll kneel, not out of submission, but out of reverence, Not because you're beautiful, talented, or charming, because you are untouchable, unbreakable, unfuckwithable. And if you're still here reading these words, you're standing at a crossroads. One path is easy, comfortable, predictable. Stay there, blend in, rot with the herd as they graze mindlessly on mediocrity. But if you crave something more, if there's a hunger inside you that won't be silenced, then you already know what to do. Smash the distractions, turn off the noise, drown out the world's excuses, and start the war. Your war. Against doubt, against hesitation, against every voice that ever told you no. Time isn't waiting. Tick, tock. Legends aren't gifted. They're titles. They aren't born into glory. They're carved through sweat, through blood, through an unrelenting will to rise. So pick up the blade. Start carving.